Hello and welcome. It's 6 p.m. India time or 12:30 GMT, and it's 3:30 in the afternoon in Riyadh, where Yemen's Houthi rebels have given a fresh warning to Saudi Arabia. They've said that Saudi Arabia's Aramco plants are still on its list of targets and that they could be attacked any moment. They've asked foreigners to vacate the area. In a series of tweets, the Houthi military spokesperson warned Saudi Arabia to quote-unquote stop its aggression and blockade on Yemen. Now, this is not the first time that Houthi rebels have spoken about the attack. Yesterday, they claimed responsibility for Saturday's attacks. They confirmed that they launched 10 drones from Yemen. Despite the Houthis' claims, the U.S. continues to blame Iran for the attacks. U.S. President Donald Trump said that the U.S. is quote-unquote locked and loaded to respond to the drone attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil processing plant. In fact, U.S. Energy Secretary Rick Perry has said that the oil market is robust after the attacks on Saudi Arabian oil facilities. Perry blamed the attacks firmly on Iran. In a series of tweets, Trump said that there was reason to believe that the U.S. knows who the culprit is, but it is waiting for the Saudi kingdom to assess the situation before it can proceed. Now, Trump has authorized the release of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve if needed, but that quantity is yet to be determined. In a tweet, Trump said that he informed all appropriate agencies to expedite approvals of oil pipelines. U.S. officials suggested that the attack came from the north, where Iran and Iraq are located, instead of Yemen, which is in the south. U.S. Foreign Minister Mike Pompeo also blamed Iran, but Iran dismissed the allegations as quote-unquote meaningless and pointless. The country's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif said that the U.S. should stop blaming Iran and accept Tehran's conditions to begin talks. In fact, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani will not be meeting with his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump at the UN. Now, this comes a day after the White House left open the possibility of talks between them. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Syed Abbas Musavi has said, and I quote, "Such a meeting will not take place. Iranian officials have repeatedly rejected meeting with Washington, D.C. till Iran is subject to U.S. sanctions," unquote. Now, over the weekend, drone strikes hit the world's largest oil processing plant and Saudi Arabia's second largest oil field. They led to two massive fires, which were later controlled by the local authorities. Saudi investigators said that they found debris which suggested that the oil facilities were hit by intermediate-range ballistic missiles. Meanwhile, France and Britain have condemned the attacks. Britain referred to the attacks as a reckless attempt to damage regional security. Saudi residents say that this is not just an attack on Saudi Arabia. Listen in.
They are attacking Saudi Arabia as if they are attacking the US, as if they are attacking Europe, but indirectly. They are attacking those nations indirectly. And assuming it's Iran that's doing it, they are not just attacking Saudi Arabia. They are intentionally saying to the US, we can hit you anywhere. They are telling Europe, we can affect the price of oil. You prevent oil from us, we will revenge.
Satellite images released on Sunday showed a massive black plume of smoke above one of the facilities targeted in the attacks. Another set of images show the extent of the damage done to the Saudi oil processing plant. Saudi oil company Aramco was forced to cut its supply by 5.7 million barrels per day. This is almost half of the Saudi kingdom's current output. It's equivalent to 5% of the global oil supplies. Aramco has not given any timeline for resumption of supplies, but some reports suggest that Saudi Arabia's oil exports will continue as normal this week. Now, Saudi Arabia is tapping into stocks from its large storage facilities. After the US announcement, the South Koreans have said that it would consider releasing oil from its strategic reserves if the situation worsens. Right, for more on this, I'm now joined by Amit Bhandari, a fellow with Gateway House, a privately funded foreign policy think tank based in Mumbai. Amit, what impact do you think the drone attacks on Saudi Aramco's facilities will have on the global oil supplies?
There are again two impacts here. First is the impact of the disruption itself. You have taken 6% of global supply out of the market, and that is going to have an immediate impact, and we can see that in the markets today. But other than that, even if once this disruption is over, which may take 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or slightly longer, we are also looking at a long-term risk premium that is going to get added to the price of oil. The incident has shown us that oil supplies of even Saudi Arabia can be hit to a very great extent by a low-level attack. So this is going to result in higher insurance premiums, more investments going into upstream, and as a result, we may see at least $2 or $3 getting added to the price of oil in the longer run.
But Saudi Arabia has not given a time frame on how soon it can resume operations at its facilities, which came under attack. Now, considering the sophistication with which these attacks were carried out, are we looking at a prolonged period of uncertainty insofar as oil supplies are concerned?
There is one issue at this point of time. The Houthis claimed responsibility for the attack, but the sophistication with which the attacks have been carried out, the Saudi government as well as American government are claiming that it is Iranian-backed, it is probably some other Iranian-backed militia which has conducted these attacks. So the uncertainty part is quite correct, that if this kind of a sophisticated entity exists which is willing to target Saudi facilities, then we are definitely looking at more disruptions in the future. While Aramco has not given a timeline for restoration of production, what we need to remember is that the facility at Abqaiq is not an oil producing field, it is an oil processing facility. So oil, when it comes out from an oil field, has water, natural gas and other things mixed in it which need to be removed, which are removed at this processing facility. So processing facilities like these typically have a lot of redundancy built into them. As a result, while it has been shut down right now completely because of the risk of fire, once the fires have been put out and the damage assessed, my view is that some of the production can actually start right away. So as a result, we are not going to see a prolonged disruption right now. But the nature of the attack suggests that we are looking at long-term uncertainty on this front.
Now, Amit, the price of Brent crude surged by almost 20%. Now, the biggest intraday spike since 1991. How badly do you think this will impact oil prices internationally?
Well, there are two issues that we need to consider here. First, the magnitude of disruption, and second, the duration. The magnitude of disruption, which is 5.7 million barrels of production lost per day, is very large. This is bigger than the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in 1990 and the Iranian Revolution of 1979. So the first part is fairly bad. The second part is the duration, how long the disruption is going to last. Right now, the indications are that the disruption may not last for very long. I think in about a week or so, we will start seeing some production recover from these reserves. As a result, the disruption is not going to be as bad as the past two instances.
Right. And Amit, very quickly, what impact will this have on fuel prices in India?
The impact would be, of course, that as the price of oil goes up, the price of diesel, petrol and other petroleum products will also increase, and that immediately affects the consumer. The second part is that India in the past, in the past when oil prices were high, over $90, $100 a barrel, the Indian government used to subsidize many of these products. So at a price of $75 or $80 a barrel, we can expect some action from the Indian government to protect the consumer by subsidizing the key petroleum products. At a larger level, if the price of oil goes up by $5 or $10 a barrel, it is a net outflow from the Indian economy. We import almost 1.5 billion barrels of oil every year. So if we are paying an extra $10 a barrel, it's $15 billion
Right.
going out of Indian economy, and that is definitely going to have a negative impact
All
on
right,
us.
right. On that note, Amit Bhandari in Mumbai, thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it.